as our leader, Black Cat, Ghost Spider, Doctor Voodoo, and Panther. A pretty tried and tested WebWarriors approach, and he's obviously got his fallback, Brace, Spider Tracker, Mission Objective, and all webbed up. No surprises there.
Classic Web Warrior roster and tactics cards. And then over on Gotchacoverd side, we've got Malekith as the leader because he's got Cabal set up with Hood and Shadowlands Daredevil as well. And then he's got Mystique as well for the sneaky deception plays. I believe Monkey Brain Lizard Home is counted as Midnight Phantasmagoria. Hood's Gang, Follow Me, Deception, and Brace for Impact.
Notably, there's no Dark Rain in there. Do you think that might be because of Black Cat being like not having access to rerolls, or he felt like the other cards were more important in this situation? What do you reckon?
It's interesting because you can really like sort of take out someone pretty quickly with Dark Rain, but I don't think he had any of the characters unless there was an opposing Mel, but that Dark Rain doesn't work against him anyway. So I don't think he would have wanted a massive attrition hit into someone when there's not that many sort of high threat value characters on the other side of the table.
I mean, looking at it as well, he doesn't have to declare his leadership just yet, so he may still swivel into Shadowland Daredevil since he hasn't committed any resources from Cabal, so he has that option available to him.
I don't think he can because Shadowlands Daredevil's only got Hood.
Mystique is not Criminal Syndicate?
No.
Oh, imagine if she was, though. What a world that would be.
No, definitely not Criminal Syndicate. Should be a beautiful piece, beautiful 3-threat, that's for sure.
I think Deception will come into large effect into this game, utilizing Mystique as just that turn 1 threat to allow Malekith to really turn on and get his attrition going. What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. As soon as you get that one sneaky pull in there with the Deception, you can just take out that character over the 2 turns with Mal. So hopefully Matt here can keep in size 2 to get away from those deception plays. We've got big Mel in the middle there of the table. It'll be interesting to see how Shadowlands Daredevil goes without the leadership. I know he's... Because who's got priority again, sorry?
That would be Matt Ken.
Yeah, okay, so you can't grab 2 extracts with Shadowlands off the rip there. So he's going to have to wait and see what way he sort of goes with his Web Warriors.
And with no Toad in Matt's list, it'll be curious to see if he decides to go for the center. I think being a top 32, he's in the know and probably not the best option to go to the center, allowing Malekith an easy first turn strike into him. So perhaps you'll go out for the sides instead.
I think we just had a bit of a connection error there. The stream is now officially started. It had said it started before, but whatever reason, it didn't go through. So hopefully in the post video, it should all still be there. But if people are checking out right now, you might have just missed the start of the stream. Sorry about that.
We've had Matt Kent roll up priority and choose his secures, and we've pulled out Sword and Spider Infected, and we've landed on 17 threat. Matt opting to choose a pretty tried and tested and classic Webheads approach with Voodoo and Black Panther as his splashes.
And then we've got a Cabal-led Malekith on the other side of the table with a Mystique hiding down the back of the building down here. I'll just give a top-down view so everyone can see where everyone is sitting there on the table.
Miles activating first, looking to get the sword off the go. Keep himself protected with his stealth and his leadership, of course.
Is he going to... Oh, he's interacted or he spent the point on the spider. So He's got the extra power to interact with the sword base, so he won't be grabbing that one anyway. But he does have Hood there that can come over if need be, because Hood's got range 3 on his hex shots if he wants to cause a bit of damage to Miles early off.
Good to note that both players are just not utilizing the clocks. Not sure if that was discussed between the two of them prior to the game, or they felt like they didn't need to have that happen.
I don't think I've seen any of the cut games go longer than an hour and a half at the moment, so I don't think most players have an issue with the time, especially when you have Big Mel on the table. It's going to be over for either player pretty quickly, I think.
We're seeing a pretty classic opening with the ninjas picking up and disappearing, passing it off to Hood, and then Shadowland's Daredevil to move up.
Oh, he's just interacted straight with the sword base. Okay. For some reason I thought there was a what do you call it? Spider infected there, but he's not put a token on the sword base. Rightio. Oh, can't stay on top of that bus then. Taking? No.
Just sussing out some terrain as far as these movement options go. Confident with the wall crawl, he should be able to scale that and get to both. But only having the one power, you'll have to make the choice as to which one he values more.
Some very high terrain on this table, so having to move the camera around to keep it in range so I can at least see what they're doing. That big size 5.
Now you notice that like you've got a bit of a power pairing happening on the left and the right from Matt. I think this is a good opportunity to look at his approach to maybe working around deception, having his team play in pairs, but also allowing Voodoo to kind of rotate either left and right depending on how the board is going, and possibly just putting pressure on the left and right sword bases and opting to move away as far away from possible as the nuclear deterrent that Malkith is.
Yeah, because he's quite fast, Voodoo, on the medium base and the medium move. It makes him quite easy to rotate, as you were saying. It's going to be interesting to see if there is a deception opening at any point and who he's going to suck in to the Murder Kitty. But he has grabbed that spider infected, so he won't be able to interact with this portal here.
Yeah, curious. It might mean that Gotchacoverd may be forfeiting the sword.
You definitely don't want your kitty cat to be pushed around by losing that sword.
No. Of course, Hood still be able to make it to the center, and Mystique with her long move potentially could get to the right with Daredevil and hold hands, but it'd be hard considering that she doesn't have Warcrawler like the rest. Of course, Malkith being as quick as he is, but I'm sure he's prioritizing getting the murder train going.
He might find it a bit difficult as well to move around this table with there being a lot of terrain in the middle there, and none of it's very large to set his base on, so if Matt Kent can sort of play around that, he might win out there a little bit as well.
Now, looking at Matt's tactics cards, he's done his best to opt for some defensive layered tech with his all webbed up to potentially put a slow early on for Malkith. Mission objective to obviously keep his extracts on him and it works well with the pairing that he's looking to do. Spider Tracker to get out of dodge and fall back as well.
With Ghost Spider.
Fallback being an interesting choice actually, because with the timing of when it procs, if Malkith does do the damage into a character off his charge, the way that the timing works, fallback would trigger first and he would move, and then Malkith would get to throw him, potentially moving back into position. So Fallback may potentially be a dead card as a offensive deterrent into Malekith.
Going Ghost Spider into Shadowlands here.
Looking for that wild, I'm sure.
No defensive hits at all.
But counting blanks, so no damage.
Oh, that's right. Forget he has
I'm
the
sure it's
counting
just there
blanks.
mainly to get the push or the power needed to just get him off the point and guarantee himself the sword.
Ah, yes, the radar sense. Now, does he pull in Ghost Spider with Deception here? She might be a little bit of a clutch piece. And Matt Kent's side with all those lifelines pulling people out of the range of his 2s and 3s from Malekith's attacks.
Oh, absolutely, big time. She would definitely be a prime target, I imagine, to try to deter, to take off a lot of the defensive options that Matt would have access to. And look at that, we're starting to measure up for it already.
Now, I know Flight removes a need to climb. Does Wall Crawler as well remove the climbing part of a Deception?
It certainly does. So Warcrawl essentially is the same principle as Flight, where you treat yourself as a basically a size 5 and ignore all cover,
Okay.
basically. In terrain, yeah. Curious. I think Mike's trying to get himself in position to get not just a deception, but even a cheeky attack in as well.
Yes, a lot of people seem to be playing Mystique in the top cuts. She seems to be quite a power pick at the moment.
Oh, so that's an excellent piece, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, deception coming out. Now, being only a short move, and where she is, I don't think Malekith will. Oh, of course, it's her bead. What am I talking about? Oh dear, this is definitely this is definitely bad news for Ghost Spider. Oh dear.
Yeah, I would definitely have gone with Black Panther here over Ghost Spider first. Him being a bit more defensive there. And still having the opportunity to attack Shadowlands for the extra power for the lifeline later on without putting yourself in danger. I think possibly Matt's forgotten about how Deception works and it's not kept her within 2.
Well, it's also due to note that Matt has foregone advanced R&D as well to, have his Panther turn 1 plays where he can pounce, move, strike, and get people off points. But I think he's elected to really lean into the defensive options. But oh dear, I think this is bad news for poor old Ghost Spider.
Something we can definitely chat to him about later on and see if Matt's forgotten or if it was part of his plan or what's going on there with Ghost Spider.
Yeah, perhaps it's just a 3 threat for Malekith to kind of snack on, and his plan is to utilize the sword to push Malekith away and keep priority and then get her out of dodge, maybe later.
Let's go for a double move on Mystique then. No attack going into Ghost Spider. Looks like it's just going to be Big Mal putting in all the hurt there on her.
It just forces Panther to have to do either pick up the extract or do the 50-50 to get the sword. Now, the lack of attrition, looking at Matt's side, we might even see the healing effects that Gotchacoverd has brought on with the Hood and the Malekith Tactic card Phantasmagoria. Might be a bit of a dud card, but of course you'll still have access to the push, which might come in handy in regards to getting the sword later on.
If you can try and get Hood into his demon possessed form as well, he gets a bit stuck there sometimes in that mode, and then he can't get his heals out. Because he does have to daze someone with his claws or use his mystical attack, which is 4 power to get out of his possessed mode.
No power on Spider. Oh, sorry, Ghost Spider means that there's no Spider Tractor. There's no fallback, so she really is at the mercy of the Malekith monster.
And we have got a sneaky beam range there as well with Ghost Spider and Voodoo to get poison onto both of them, if need be, to stop the Voodoo plays later on in the game. With his brother Daniel token. What do you think about the overall sort of matchup between these two in terms of the webheads coming up against this attrition piece of Cabal?
I've played it twice before, and it pretty much just comes down to obviously the crisis, but if Matt can leverage his defensive options and nullify Malekith by getting the slow and the pushes and even the sword into him, he can really essentially stagger him and put him out from being able to really get the attrition going. And I really think that it's just about how effectively he's able to put those pieces and those tools in place. Looks like Malekith is sizing up. Oh, we're just doing some pre-measuring. But like any attrition piece, as scary as Malekith is, he is a slot machine at the end of the day. So if he goes into Ghost Spider and absolutely whiffs and generates no power, and then his follow-up strike may not even daze her, and without the access to the power to generate those skulls into crits, he does have the potential to really hit like a wet noodle sometimes. So it's not a guaranteed thing. Be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, even with the mitigation with the skulls turning to crits, sometimes I've had my Mal just do nothing, which is crazy to see out of like 7 dice or 10 dice.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel good. You brought him for one thing and to let you down that, but that's just Marvel, isn't it? That's just Marvel dice,
Yeah.
and thinking they're going to be consistent is just your first mistake. No surprises here. Could coming to the center, flipping the sword. I'll ask, do you think with both Panther and Black Cat, do you think he's going to force the importance of the sword as as another option to pull Malekith out or push him away and try and deter him away as an option? Does that mean that he's going to be putting Panther into that sword, and if it fails, Black Cat goes into the center to kind of push the sword?
I think he has to, because that's the only way you can move Mel around the board. Otherwise, Mel just gets to go wherever he wants to. So I don't think he's got any. With the WebWarriors side, I don't think any of their pulls or pushes are they size unrestricted.
Gwen has a size unrestricted web line.
Okay, so that's the only way of moving Mel around the board to get him out of position.
And it is towards her, so maybe not ideal.
Yeah. So at least with the sword-based push, you can sort of move around a little bit and push him away rather than bring him into Ghost Spider.
Of course, Black Cat having access to Troublemaker is another great option to continue to mitigate Malekith's offense.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be in play next turn for her with the setup he's going for. He gets to pick between Ghost Spider or Black Cat. And then if it's not Black Cat, she'll stagger him next turn.
Oh, this is a bold move. Black Cat straight into the fire.
He can't. Oh, you can at least get the rerolls into her as well because it's not classed as modifying. You're just turning it into crits. So he's got 2 juicy targets to go into. Pardon?
Yeah, you mean the Cloak of Shadows? Did you mean?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's his play. Maybe he's just trying to give his opponent a bit of a tough decision because Black Cat's such an annoying piece into Malkuth with that dagger, and then of course the steal online. Perhaps maybe in turn 3. It'll be interesting to see who he prioritizes as his main target. But if it was me, Ghost Spider is the first one to go down.
Mm-hmm. Or you could even get lucky and just daze them both off the rip.
Oh my goodness!
Well, it's a possibility though. 2 7-dice attacks. He's going for a charge as well.
Yep, paying 2 for ferocity. Mike making some choices with positioning. I think he's trying to consider if he loses the sword base, maybe positioning himself in a way where the push may be less effective on him, so that he's backstopped by that size 5 building, but still being in range 2 of both.
Hmm. You're going into Ghost
We don't
Spider.
know. We'll have to wait and see. But here we go. The first Malkuth roll.
The leadership here as well, I believe.
Oh my goodness. An amazing first roll for Malkuth. Oh, and
a decent roll for Matt as well.
Yeah.
We're not dazing both of them then.
That's 5 with a pierce.
No pierces, because pierces on the wild.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, I was looking at the other dice tray. That's 4 blocks. Oh my goodness. Amazing dice from both. Though he does still get the throw. And being omnidirectional, he can throw him anywhere he likes.
And it's a May throw as well, isn't it?
It is. But I'm not sure why you wouldn't throw here just straight into the car, get your extra point of damage, and then continue on your merry way. But only having 1 power off such a great roll, surely can't feel good. Alright, take 2.
Opting not to throw her. Oh, just into the car for the 1 damage, yep. Going for a possible fallback.
Yep, fallback comes in. Good call here.
It's definitely smart to play it off this one rather than the first attack there. Obviously knowing how a Mal works and he gets a throw afterwards.
Well, that's actually a good point. I think the timing there may have been incorrect, like I was saying previously in the game. Just realizing. So what should happen is the movement happens first, and then Malkuth throws after that. But being just observers.
I think he was doing it for the second attack, forcing the second attack to go into Black Cat.
Oh, right.
So he's opted not to play fallback for the first attack, but then opted it for the second attack. Got a few reroll here from the skulls. Not reroll, sorry, crit rolls.
Yeah, just the 1.
So yeah, 3 damage with the pierce going into Black Cat there. Oh no, sorry, and the skull crit as well. So 4 damage.
That might be probably the best outcome that Matt was potentially looking at. So neither character has been dazed. Power is now online for Black Cat to get the stagger and Gwen is alive. So, yeah. But, of course, that doesn't mean anything with priority now shifting to Mike, and Malkith's surely the first to go.
Yeah. With enough power to do a 10 dice spender if need be, just to guarantee one of the deaths there. One of the KOs. Oh, sorry, the dazes there. If need
Alright,
be.
and here comes the first 50-50 of the game.
The great equalizer that is sword base.
Some people love it, some people hate it. How do you feel?
I don't like it. What do you like it then?
Uh, I don't like it.
We did not roll and get the sword base. What were we on? We were on 2 to Gotcha to 1 for Mike. Oh, sorry, 1 for Matt.
Should be 4, is it? 4 to Mike?
Yeah, because he got the sword base, didn't he? He had the
5.
center one.
Nah, it should be 5. Yeah. Should be 5 because you got 2 extracts and then we got the sword for 3. Yeah, 5 to Mike or Gotchacoverd, and
Oh yeah, because there's a Spire Effect is still sitting on the board that no one's touched.
yeah. Matt should have one with his extract on Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here comes the push. Interesting to see who he chooses here.
Does Gwen go back into the fray again? Decisions on Gotcha's end here. Who wants to bring back into the fray? Do you think he will prioritize Gwen over everyone? With being Voodoo up there as well?
I mean, I would. I think Gwen's such an important piece and integral to the overall game plan for Webheads. Just that lifesaver can just become so clutch, especially into denying Malkith's attrition options. And Black Hat being such a juicy option next to him, I mean, it just makes sense. Of course, Mike has access to follow me as well, so if things don't go off perfectly, he can just obviously shift over with a follow me and retain priority and potentially daze us both as well, which would be very nasty.
Unfortunately, Gwen's in range 3 for that Butcher of Thors. The big 10 dice spender. You definitely don't want to... Has slow on the Butcher, doesn't as well.
Oh, I tend to laugh whenever I see the conditions attached to Butcher because I assume they're dead.
I mean, if she doesn't die, she's going to be slowed, and that's a sad Gwen being slowed.
Alright, here we go. Butcher of Thors into Gwen, 10 dice.
I think she's dazed. Looking at those dice.
Yeah, I don't think you even worry about paying for power of skulls or anything. Oh no, we are rolling our crits, of course. 5 damage.
I'm guessing he opted not to move anyone towards Mel then, with the sword-based push.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone get moved.
Yeah, that top side looks the same, and then Miles is down there by himself.
I think the way things are at the moment, I really don't think he can complain at this point. He does get to place one off Gwen's dead corpse. Well, corpse in the dirt at the moment. And then, of course, he gets his leadership trigger.
He doesn't want to daze Black Cat here, though, otherwise he'll lose priority. And then
Oh,
Gwen
see,
can
well, this
just
is where
leave.
the follow me comes in handy.
Yeah, if he gets enough power here. Because he only got 2
Well,
power on.
well, this is where a 5 health Miles looks extra juicy, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, and we may have forgotten our leadership as well.
So there's definitely no follow me being played here. This Malekith is way out of range.
Yeah, so if anything, if this goes too well,
Well, he's blocking 1 at least. It's a double pierce from Mel.
five with a pierce, reroll comes in.
Oh, he's blocking 2
Oh,
now. Nice.
oh, the pierce is not per wild; it's just the first one.
Oh, is it only just a 1? Rightio.
Yeah, goodness me, how impressive would that be? Yeah, so Miles only taking the 2, but of course the throw coming online into the light post. Street light? Light post? Traffic light, there it is.
That's the word. Got there in the end.
That's it. So powering up Miles, powering up Mal, retaining priority still at this stage. The question is, now that we've had Mal's big turn, what can Matt do to kind of push into a place where he can score the sword, get some of these extracts off? I'm thinking Black Cat is probably the next to go, considering she's in danger land.
She's not getting her stealth anymore. Send her over there for the long move and give a nice stagger to Mel. Especially since Hood could quite easily do that 1 damage to her.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but all these 4 dice rapid fire characters just tend to absolutely blow people up. How have you found that?
Some games they go off chops, and other games they do absolutely nothing, and you don't even get your trigger because your niece need to roll the hit roll to get the trigger going, and then sometimes that doesn't even happen.
That's unless you're playing Winter Soldier on big rips, and then oh my goodness. Looks like we are going the way of the stagger play.
It's a very important play because if you misplay it, like I have in 1 game, it just snowballs from there. What's nice about a stagger is you don't have to do any damage. It's just an auto stagger.
I think this is the grappling hook, potentially just to move up. Oh no, this is the troublemaker. Rolling well on troublemaker always feels sad.
Especially when they don't roll the best defense rolls either.
Yeah, but does hit the elusive trigger, which I'm sure he was looking for.
Because then you can snake back and grab the spider portal. Or the spider infected, sorry. Or grab the sword, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, the next 50-50. He's lost the first one so far. Let's see how take 2 goes. Oh!
It's the joy of sword.
Yeah.
You can plan for everything in the world until you make that roll.
Just rewinding a little bit, how important do you think that Malekith leadership trigger miss was?
Pretty vital because it means he would have been in range already just to be straight onto Miles there without having to do the extra move and lose a bit of action economy. He's still
Oh no,
probably.
so Malekith can't do it on
Oh, he can't
himself.
do it himself. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah.
forget that he can't do it leadership to himself. Well, he would. What Hood would have probably sat there anyway, because he was trying to get into Black Cat. So it would have been just up the other end with Shadowlands or Mystique.
Yeah, no one being injured and everyone already being in position. Maybe it would have been Hood, maybe to push towards either left or right, help support the flank.
Maybe he
Uh,
just did he pass out the power at least? No.
No, he did not. No, he missed it completely.
Okay.
That's all right. These things happen. I mean, it's a top 32 game.
Because the power is a must, isn't it? And the movement is you can just stay where you are for the movement.
Yes. Yeah. What's Gangan is an interesting pick as a tactics card. I've tried it in the past before. I always felt a bit awkward playing an attrition-focused gameplay like this with Hood and taking the card because it means that Hood has to activate first to really get the benefit out of it, and it tends to be a little uncomfortable with a piece like Malekith. So it'll be interesting to see if Mike can leverage that tool to continue pushing forward with his absolute devastation and carnage.
Yeah, because playing Malekith, especially second when you're trying to KO a character, is not what you would be playing Hood first at to get those rerolls out.
Yeah, it just opens you up to potentially your opponent's defensive tech, things like stagger, repositioning, slows, and things like that. So traditionally, you obviously want to open up with your offensive pieces nice and early, so you can avoid this. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he values the Hood's gang and how he's going to use the piece over something, let's say, like a Dark Rain. And conversely, so interesting to see where how Matt plans to use All Webbed Up.
Yeah, what turn he uses it on to get all those extra attrition out. Did Matt have Mel on his side as well?
Yeah, he has an access to a Malekith splash.
I wonder if that's why he didn't take Dark Rain, because obviously that won't work against the opponent's Mel.
Ah, good call. Good call.
And that at least gives you some rerolls into him. Oh no, you can't even reroll against him anyway, so Hood's Gang wouldn't even work. But yeah, there would have been a wasted card if Mel was on the other side of the table.
Some conversation happening between the players. Oh, and we've got Shadowlands Daredevil having a dig into the boy Voodoo. Oh my goodness, these defensive dice from Matt Kent.
Well, you want a little bit of damage going through into Voodoo because you want to make most of that power, so you can do a Brother Daniel onto some of these 3 threats that are lying around.
My goodness, those defensive rolls. For those of you out there who are curious as to why Mike chose to utilize the ninjas to disappear so early to pass off the extract, it's mainly to allow Shadowlands Daredevil to bring them back for an extra attack 4 dice when he uses its builder, rather than just run away with, let's say, the spider infected.
I'm just bringing the card up now for everyone to look at as well.
Ooh, that is a big hit. They are some angry ninjas. Just 4 from 4, no defense dice. Oof.
Might daze here as well. It's not what you want in a Voodoo, especially when the Brother Daniel token doesn't disappear when he dazes. You don't want Voodoo going early.
No, certainly not. And Voodoo being, I would imagine, a key piece in this matchup because not only does it force your opponent to drop the extracts, but also makes it so they're impossible to interact with the sword.
It's especially big when you've only got 4 characters to play with as well. Having that one less option on one side of the board is a bit harder to play around.
Alright, I think we're going for another whack. Oh my goodness, 3 crits. Lovely roll. And the dice have turned around. Going from making 4 from 4 defensive rolls to just making the 1.
That's definitely not what you want on Voodoo. He's juiced with power now, but you want that Brother Daniel token out early if you can be.
Of course, Shadowlands Endeavor holding an extract already means that he can't pick this up. Trying to make it as awkward as he can for Matt.
Oh, there is Mystique sitting there as well, hidden away.
Yeah, but of course then you have Black Panther who can just
Hmm.
potentially move, but that is costing him a bit of an action, where I'm sure he would much rather swipe into Mystique and secure that base for himself.
It's going to be interesting who Black Panther ends up going into up that top end of the board as well. Do you think it's just going to go straight all into Mystique?
I mean, again, that sword being worth 3 VP and the push, Mystique would be a great piece to kind of take off the board at this point, but
Because in terms of sword control at the moment, who's got control on what pieces?
so Mystique is the one she's sitting on. Criminal Syndicate's got that. So, and the center one, and then of course, Webhead still has. Oh no.
So I'm not. They're not using
Oh.
tokens. So it's been hard to tell.
Oh, if you rotate your camera, you'll be able to see. They're just because on the linear look, you'll be able to see them. But Gotchacoverd's got all 3 at present.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, no, I can see it now. Mel's wings were blocking one off. Yes, it's not looking good for the Webhead at the moment. Yeah, WebWarriors are a very technical team, so if you fall apart in a few places, they can be very punishing. I think we have an accuser joining in the game as well. Because of course, as streamers, we can't interact or say anything to any of the players. Even if we see an illegal move, we just have to keep watching and grinning and watching the disaster unfold. Unfortunately.
Yeah, there's been a few things, like for instance, missing that point from Matt. They didn't roll for the spider infected. I wasn't going to mention anything. These players might be a bit nervous being their first game in the top 32 potentially. Oh, we get the sword back. That's lovely to see. Third go at it, and we've got it.
Yeah, just having the accuser there helps quite a bit. And just, especially because you're saying he's doing newer, being able to keep things on top of him.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're in the middle, it's so easy to comment and see these things from the outside. But when you're in there and you're looking at each other and things, I mean, 2 of your characters are dazed. You do tend to get sucked into the game in front of you and get a bit of tunnel vision. So.
Indeed. Or when you want your big Mal running around, just slapping everybody, you get a bit excited and forget to put points and movements on people. Very power movement.
I only recently started covering content with MCP and TTS. Both Sam and I come from a big AOS background, so we're not too new to tabletop gaming. But I'd be interested to see with the queues are coming into the room, given the board state and how far along they've gone, what the decision is around moving forward from here. I'm not too familiar with what the decision around this would be. There's been a lot of things we moved past, so I doubt there'd be a big takebacks here and there. But perhaps having someone in the room now to keep an eye on things would help support the players to make sure
Hmm.
the rules are, well, not the rules, but certainly the interactions that must take place are happening.
Yeah, because if the move was a must, that could change things as well. Having to move someone somewhere. But, it's only the power level. What have we got going on here? Not Black Panther's going into someone.
Well, actually, I think it's Mike's turn now. This might be Mystique. Mystique going into Black Panther.
Has to be Black Panther. Yeah, into Black Panther for
Yeah,
sure. Not the other character up these days. So
yeah. Well, Panther proving his mantle. No damage so far.
it's going to be
Unfortunately,
very
sabotage doesn't work on those giant size 4s, so won't have access to that as an option either.
yeah. And they're building a size 3 at the back there, but that won't matter. It's very exciting for both players as well, whoever progresses on, being newer into the TTS scene, going on to the top 16. It's quite an accomplishment.
Oh, undoubtedly. Then we have Espionage going in. Espionage is such a great spender because the stun comes out before damage.
Yeah, it's quite nice triggering with the stun, isn't it? 'Cause most of the time you get all this damage to them, they get all the power, and then they're stunned afterwards.
So 2 going through.
Would have been a great defensive role there. If that was the other way around.
Oh, speaking of, I was watching a game a little while back where a crucial turn with a Malekith-led force with who was it? It was Killmonger going in and rolled a big fistful of shields, and they forgot to utilize the power to count shields as successes. So really important to keep that in mind with certain people like Killmonger and who's the other character? Shuri.
Well, especially since they're not a common thing to happen either. Most of the time you'll
Yeah.
roll even, so you don't really want to split it off.
All right. Black Panther. I assume he's going to move, pick up, go for a strike, and then secure this sword base.
Be interesting to see what Matt's next goal is for next turn. He's going to go with first because he's lost priority from Gotcha, and it's gone to Matt now because he did Day's Voodoo before he went.
These gentlemen certainly know how to roll dice. It's some great offense and defense dice on both ends.
Oh, it's all on to Hood now. Hood's 50-50 roll when he moves somewhere if he wants to keep the sword base.
Yeah, which side do you reckon he's going to go?
I think he has to go up the top there with the rest of the crew because I think Mel is going to be able to cover both of those two down the bottom there. But it does depend who Matt goes with first next turn because Matt has priority now. Where would you assume Hood would go?
I mean, a staggered Malekith is far less terrifying. So maybe he's going that way. It'd be a tough beat to kind of get his base in there, actually. I think it'd be troublesome to get in between Malekith and Black Cat and still get within 1, so...
Mel could roll lucky as well on his Mystic Beam and just take them both off in one go. And that would
also
achieve the same result. because Black Cat's only got 1 wound left and 2 on Miles. And then Gweb's not in lifeline range either.
Hood's such a great piece going into Black Panther turning off those blanks and only having 3 defense dice.
Yeah, and he
Has
can
to go that way.
nearly sit on that sword base in the middle there and just pop off hex shots into Black Panther where he is. Maybe? Not 100% sure on how far it is between those 2 points. It'd be close. Oh, I'll zoom in and have a look. No, not in there. On my angle, it looked pretty close, but coming in from a heads-up version.
Well, we are getting some measurements off Black Panther. Maybe he's thinking that way, knowing that Matt's going to get the first move, likely either Gwen or Black Cat getting out of dodge, maybe even Miles to keep the leadership going. But I think Mike's setting up his positioning so that he's in range for some hex shots into Black Panther.
So I suppose Gwen's probably safe for the first few sort of goes in the next round because there's no one near her. Wonder if maybe you need to get Voodoo, throw it down at Brother Daniel and get Voodoo out of there. But he's got a lot of options to choose from, I suppose, and they're all quite vital. You don't want to get 2 characters dazed just from 1 attack from Malekith either.
I think the gents are sorting out some power issues with Black Panther forgetting to spend his power to interact. He should be down on 0, which he is. And Mike's decided to come towards Malekith, aid him in his quest for blood. Let's see if he can get within 1. Should be a tight squeeze.
Yeah, just enough.
Yeah, just enough. Though an interesting ruling has come up in the past in real life games that nasty tail of Malekith can force models out, and I think there was a situation where because the model couldn't fit because of Malekith's tail, they weren't allowing that character to place that model there.
So you're cutting your. Did you get it?
He did not.
No.
So Matt keeps the sword. Yes, and to answer your question, I'm definitely cutting off my tail. Though I've seen some amazing conversions with Malekith with the wings cut off as well.
I mean, you can always magnetize the wings and magnetize the tail and just pull them all off when you play a game.
Oh, that's way too much trouble. You're talking to a contrast warrior, mate. Like that's way too much hobby for me. All right, looking at it is Mike's picking up 2 for this round, and
5.
Matt should be picking up 5.
6 because he's got 3.
Oh, 6. Yeah, Black Cat as well. Yep.
Nice big point swing.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yep.
I wonder if it would have been worth Hood just to put a hex shot in to Black Cat and not worrying about the sword base. That way you're getting her dazed and Malekith can possibly take her off next turn.
Oh, that's a good call. I think Matt being on 8 points is just to catch up on the points he missed out in the earlier round. So 8 to 7. Big swing back into Matt's favor, and Matt now has priority. So and a push.
Yeah, I suppose 3 points is a big swing as well. Do you take the 50-50 or you take the dazed and then KO'd Black Cat? Looks like they're playing with the clocks now as well.
Well, I feel with the top 32, I believe that the clocks are mandatory. I could be wrong though. But
no, I believe they're mandatory as well.
Yeah.
But if no one brings it up, then no one's going to remember, are they?
That's it. And if there's no accuser in the room, then you know.
A lot of choices to be made on Matt's side.
Well, before any choices are made, some rolls need to happen for these spider infected.
Oh yes, that's probably what they forgot about last turn as well.
Yeah. We got 5 dice rolls, 3 for Matt, and him having priority means that he has to roll his 3 first.
Yeah, that could have been quite big last turn if some important Spire infected have gone off, changed the whole shape of the game.
Oh, massively. Spider infected plus sword pushes. I mean, it can compound greatly and change the shape of a lot of options. But it's good to see the accusers in there helping him out.
Is sword done first, or is the infected done first?
Because they happen at the same time, the person with priority and the effect basically gets to choose the order that they happen. So Hood, I believe, is being pushed with a sword, unless I've missed a dice roll. And Matt to go first. No movement there. Looking for successes for this. No. Oh, and we have 1 movement out of 3. Good rolls. Well, bad rolls, but in his favour at least. And this is an advance, so he doesn't have to worry about collision or worry about bases or things like that. But no Warcrawler and Panther, so can't put him over that size 4 truck.
There are some weird characters out there that you think would have Wallcrawler, but they do not.
A previous game that I was covering, I said the same thing about Black Cat. Every time I play against her or with her, I just assume that she has it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this is my 3rd game I've covered in the last 18 hours.
You're working too
Some might
hard,
even
mate.
say that some people might even say that puts me in contention for the hardest working man in MCP. I wouldn't. That's far too bold for me to say. I think
was
that
that
belongs to someone else.
was that 3 games in 24 hours as well?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, we've got a crit. Someone's being moved.
You and Chewie might have to fight it out in the car park.
Oh, definitely not a fine. I'll take him in a dance off though. All right, now that we've resolved the crisis effects, Power and Matt to see what he can do with this board state. What do you think? If you're in Matt's shoes at the moment, things are looking a little bit wobbly. Voodoo's flipped. Gwen's flipped. Your other 3 are looking pretty mangled. Where are we going?
I think Voodoo is the most at risk to actually KO and be taken off the board without a Brother Daniel being thrown out there at all. Because at least you've got Malekith is probably going to daze one of your guys down the bottom there with Black Cat or Miles, and Hood possibly taking off the other one. So and Mel's already staggered, so Black Cat's of no use down there at the moment. But neither of them are being KO'd.
Well done, mate. You've called it. Voodoo's going, possessing Shadowland Daredevil straight off the bat.
I think he has to do some work, Voodoo, because he is 4 threat and he's had all the power in the world and not done a single thing yet.
Now the question is, in these situations, is it time to run? Looking a bit difficult to get over that fire truck.
I think the only issue with moving Voodoo down here is now he's pulling threat from at the top to the middle now, so he's going to threaten Gwen as well.
But perhaps this positioning allows the Lifesaver online to keep Voodoo
that is true.
and then the Spider Tractor as well. And we might even see an all webbed up to slow some things down. So I like this, actually. I like this a lot. Gets the sword base in the center going with these big attrition pieces on the outside. means he only needs to flip one. And with the lead he has, this could work out for him.
And I suppose he's blocking off that sword base from the top side as well, with that car being a bit annoying, and maybe that one edge being within one to interact with it. But we might just see a Miles or a Black Cat leave if they're not taken off with the Mystic Beam. Or Webbed Up is being played.
Yep. Good decision here, I feel. Slowing down Malekith, meaning that he can't shake the stagger and then simply come into the center with his ferocity.
It also reduces the length of his charge as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring
So
to.
he's
Yeah.
probably not. Oh, sorry, ferocity. Yeah, so he's probably not going to get up to the middle with a charge then.
It'll be tricky. I definitely seriously doubt he'll be able to hit Voodoo. And then Gwen, of course, can just spider tracker off that as well. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah, you definitely want to slow on Mel. That's for sure. Putting all these status effects on these big characters, they don't want to shake him.
Yeah, you can if you go back and watch one of the games done by Norbert between Pat and his opponent, you get to see Thanos utilize his spender, the Cosmic Blast, to not only push but also put a slow on Malekith, and I can seriously do some work in turning off his options. I won't spoil what happens in the end, but it was a great game. Highly recommend everyone to go check it out.
There's been a lot of great content with this first week of cut. Tons of people putting in tons of effort and video and work with all their videos.
Doing some measurements, checking out some options. Again, follow me is still available, so
I don't think
does have the option to activate too.
there's no follow me coming from Hood though, because the max of power he can get this turn is 4. And follow me 6 is in it.
Yeah, so what Malekith can do, he can activate, take Miles into put him into the dirt basically by doing that last 2 damage, and then spend 6 for Hood to do the same for Black Cat. And what that means is that he may potentially be able to keep Prio. Looking at the board too, yeah, he'd be able to keep Prio off that as well.
And be online to have no stagger for the next turn as well.
Yeah.
So we take both of them out.
Yep. I think that's what we're looking at. Malekith to go. Ooh.
Rerolls. Just the one. Oh, he's pulled another one.
Oh, he's done it. The 4 with the Pierce.
Yep.
Now, Malekith, if he's looking to do the follow me play, can't actually afford to pick it up.
No.
He does get his trigger, of course, putting one of his characters, potentially moving Mystique closer to the center, or at least to the sword base, to help out with
Oh, bit of a misplay there. Won't have enough points to power to do the follow me.
but you'll have to spend 1 for the base anyway. But I think we've missed the leadership.
Oh, she's going for a base and a spider infected then, rather than going for the follow me.
That's fine. I don't think it's a misplay. It's just a decision, basically.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah. Me being the greedy kind of player I am, though. Follow me. Absolutely. Days Black Cat, move in, get the sword, retain priority. I mean, that all sounds good to me. especially if he can remember to build that trigger and pull Hood in and help out his action economy as well.
Yes, because I suppose he hasn't got enough KOs or dazes on the board yet for him to win out through a full attrition wipe. So he has got to think about the points more than the actual attrition at this point. Because Black Panther hasn't been flipped yet. And it is now quite a fast-moving game with the 5 extracts being on the table and then the 3 points from the sword base.
That's a fair comment. I mean, all 3 swords are now under Matt's control, and Matt also has 3 extracts, so he is sitting on quite a healthy options for VPs at the moment. So it really is on Mike to make some key decisions with his resources.
Would you have gone for the straight attack into Miles, or would you have gone for the beam into both of them?
I mean, the beam is nice, isn't it? Can't remember if you get the I assume you get the rerolls even against Mystic. Oh no, you don't. You'd only get your leadership reroll. I mean, it's risky because it is only 5 dice, no pierce. If you're looking for that follow me play, you're guaranteeing it by getting the 2 power off them, but it means you can't use your Cloak of Shadows to enhance the damage. So it is risky.
Yeah, because I suppose Blade of Midnight could have flopped as well, and he only gets 1 damage through, and then can't play Follow Me if that was his play. So I suppose if he wanted to play Follow Me as a guaranteed Follow Me, but if that wasn't his play pattern, well, then there's no point probably going for the guarantee.
That's a fair point. I definitely would have done it if I brought Smash with me and would have blown up that ambulance. That would have been so great.
Yeah, Smash and laser beams is brutal.
No, just joking. He wouldn't have power. But we have remembered the leadership, and we put Mystique onto the sword, giving her a power. Are we seeing the roll for the sword base, I imagine, coming up next? Oh, and we've got Phantasmagoria guaranteeing the sword. I think he's seen some of these rolls this game. He's decided, you know what? I'm not interested. I just want base.
Yeah, because I don't think he was really worried about the health on Mel, that's for sure. Not enough attrition coming out at all. So he just wants it for the short pushes. He could have gotten around that as well if wanted to. He could have just done a ferocity and got guaranteed the throw on Black Cat, rather than having to use his tactics card to play it, and would have only cost him.
Oh, no, he only had the 1 action because he was staggered.
But if he'd done the ferocity, wouldn't that give him the Blade of Midnight with an automatic throw at the end?
Only if he does damage, that's true. And with the 1 damage, Black Cat would have stayed still, but it would have meant that Miles would still be there, and it'd still be a 50-50.
Ah, yes, I forgot. It went into Miles, yeah.
I think defending this sword base is everything that Matt is thinking about at the moment. I think it's his win condition at this point. Considering he's got the lead and the extract.
Mm-hmm. He's transitioned into the end phase, as some might say.
And he's just won it back just like that off the 50-50.
Yeah, because he can pretty much seal it away in 2 turns.
Well, Hood being slowed, if he wants it back, he gets no shots off, so Black Cat is protected. You'll have to double move to get there. But
because he'll get Matt will be getting 6 points this turn if nothing changes. Putting him on to 14, and he only needs to keep hold of 2 of his spiders, and he's pulled it out a 16 win.
Right, some dice are being rolled.
Not sure who's going into what. Do you reckon he's going to be in range for a short move with a hex shot?
Oh, he definitely will be in range if he wants to move shoot. But if he does that, he's forfeiting the sword base because he won't be in range. Ooh, that is an excellent roll.
Or is this Black Cat going into Kitty Cat?
What has she done so far? She's just done the one move, hasn't she? And done the
Yeah,
sword. So
yeah.
yeah,
And that's a few pierces on that attack as well. Or is her pierce just a single?
all pieces are just single. Yeah.
Oh, all pierces are just single. Okay.
Yeah. Well, she's picked up some lovely power for herself. Unfortunately, she can't utilize it to steal.
Nope.
Curious though, in this situation, could Black Cat use the steal? But because she can't hold more than one, what happens to the extract? Does it drop onto the ground, perhaps? I'm not sure.
No, it says move one asset or civilian token to the chosen character. It's holding to this character. I don't think it'll allow you to place it on the ground. It just wouldn't work as a rules interaction.
Yeah, I'll have to quickly have a look at the forum rules, but you might be right.
But I'm surprised he didn't just throw a stagger back into Mel.
Well, he had to move to get into that position, and then he didn't have any power, so...
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise what power he was on. Yeah, I suppose he's...
Yeah.
That
He only
makes
had the one
sense.
power to interact with the sword, so...
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't notice that. A lot of choices have to be made now on Gotch's side.
I think Mystique was just sizing up to see if he was within one of the terrain piece for espionage. Oh no, sorry, sabotage. I think all eyes are on taking out Black Panther and getting that extract off him.
Because would your play be with Black Panther for when he gets to go, send him into the middle, or sort of start retreating all your characters away and just giving up that top sword base?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he could potentially keep like Panther up there as a distraction. He is quite tanky into both of these characters only having physical and counting blanks and having 4 physical defense. And we have our rapid fire coming out. Assuming from Mystique. Oh, that is 3 defense dice counting blanks. That's another 3. And here comes the reroll. And another 3. See, as I was saying, Black Panther's quite a tanky boy into these physical damage dealers, especially when they have low volume dice.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm just going to sort out my dog here on my end.
Oh, you're right, Enzo. We're just having a bit of a look at the reach on this one, and I assume they're discussing which part of the base or which part of the terrain they consider the base. Typically, it's the actual base of the model, so that little overhang that you potentially can see, I think they're negotiating whether or not that is part of it. And of course, that's up to the players and the queues in the room. Oh, and we decided that it is in range, so 2 guaranteed damage into Panther, leaving him just on 2. What this does mean, though, is he is in danger of potentially getting taken off with Shadowland plus the ninjas. We've, of course, won the sword back with Mystique with no one challenging it. So, here to see what Matt decides to do with Black Panther after taking that 2 damage from the sabotage. Oh,
Going
and he
back
might
into
be
the
choosing.
fray.
He might be choosing violence.
Well, getting rid of the hand ninjas gets a lot of damage off the table because they obviously buff Shadowlands as well as getting their own attacks.
Yeah, Shadowlands is sitting on a nice heap of 4 power. I think this is Pounce. Would you have gone this way? Would you have gone for violence in this situation? Pressuring the sword?
I don't know, because Shadowlands, is he medium mover or is he long mover?
No, Shadowlands, he's medium.
Medium.
Yeah,
So
unlike Daredevil. Apparently, when you get possessed, you go a bit slower.
so he won't be ever threatening that middle one then because he doesn't have enough room to move down and flip the middle one. So I wonder if it was worth just doing the one attack into the ninjas and then flaying off again.
All right. Well, the ninjas have been taken off with that pounce. I don't think Panther is within one of the sword, unfortunately. If he wants it back, he'll have to only get 1 strike.
Yeah, so Webhead's currently owned 2 of the 3 at the moment anyway.
He needs to generate power here as well. Oh, and it's only 1 and he's blocked it. Oh, going for our reroll. There may have been an issue with the dice there. Too many dice. I can't recall. Oh, and no defense, no blanks, no nothing. Unlucky. Unfortunate, but it does mean that Panther now has that 1 power needed.
Is he
And
in
we'll likely see him.
range?
I don't think so. I don't think he was far enough with the pounce, so he'll just move up and take the sword base. Which means he's got all 3 now. Again.
Which is big, which means you can fully retreat everyone out and give up those sword bases in the middle, forcing him to stay there and try and flip them. And then bring his 2 characters out with the spider infected and get the win there. He's going to be up 14 to 9 at that point.
Now, Shadowland does have his baton toss, range 4 to get a move. I'm not sure if that's in or not. No pre-measuring was done there, so it'd be interesting to see if he's in. Oh, we got Wood and Shadowlands Daredevil to make some decisions. And he's in. I think with that fire truck, I don't think there was really a place Panther could have put himself to not be in. I have to remind myself, does he require whatever's dealt? Oh, it's guaranteed move. That's nice.
Would you play for the big spender to try and get Panther flipped, or would you just go into your builder and try and get those hand ninjas out?
I think Mike has realized as much as we have that if things stay the way it is, he's just going to lose out on points. So he's moving up. He'll have a bit of a dig with him. It was good to see they could make it with a medium move. I wasn't sure if he could. He'll have a dig with his builder and get the ninjas on. Oh, 2 coming in. Oh, and he nails it. So no damage there either. Panther coming in clutch. Now the ninjas last time when they rolled 4 from 4. So let's see if they can do it again.
Even if they can get the 1 damage during the double bleed, give me a bit of a. So the double wild for the bleed could be helpful.
Oh, just the 1. Oh, and we blocked it and then some. All right. Mike needs the 50-50.
Won't change anything points wise, but
Well, it does mean that.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Hood's still got to go. Yeah.
Yeah, he can come down, double move, and potentially go for the 50-50. I don't think Shadowland's gone for it.
No, he didn't.
No. Perhaps he's forgotten that it's been taken off him. Again, no fault to these players at all. It's a very intense game.
Both in the finals for the first time as well, I believe. I don't think we definitely know that Gotch is his first finals. I'm not sure about Matt Ken.
Yeah, neither am I.
This is Gotch's first TTS season, so he's done well for himself.
Now, interesting choices here with Gwen. Now that the sword hasn't been flipped with Shadowlands Daredevil, he doesn't have to worry too much about Wood's side. So perhaps she's coming across this way to help guarantee or keep Panther protected. She can, of course, also go towards Hood and potentially get a push with impact webbing. Like, there's definitely options here. But then you have to consider Malekith, of course.
Yeah. So I think my play is just start pulling everyone out now because you're going to get the guaranteed 6 points this turn, and you only need 2 more spider infected to pull it off at that point.
Yeah, and again, Matt keep retaining priority again. Certainly hurts the effectiveness that Malekith can do.
Because you can just spread everyone out then with their long moves. They're just going wherever they want. He's never going to be able to attack more than once. Is Gwen going into Big Kitty, is he? Is she? Sorry?
I think so. With the all webbed up turn happening, I think he's being drawn in with the taste of blood. He's only hit 2 though.
Spending for his crit roll in of the skull.
That freestyle beatdown.
What's the range of Gwen's lifeline? Is it 3?
Oh, do you mean the lifesaver?
Sorry, lifesaver, sorry.
Yeah, range 4.
Range 4, okay. So he's in range to lifesaver someone. Not that's going to really matter a whole lot because have to pull through.
Not sure I like this idea of putting extra power into Malekith. Not really putting him in a place. Oh, I think we've forgotten that he's slowed.
Yep, they're just remembering now, I think. Oh, it's just double move.
Oh, we just double moved? Ah, sure. Yeah. No worries. Ghost Spider obviously tripping the spider tracker, getting out of dodge. And again, here comes the next 50-50. Oh no. I think this is a hex shot. Yeah, I think we've forgotten about the slow. I think they're remembering. I think the man in the room's come in and reminded them.
It's hard to track here how far away he was because they've shuffled him around outside of the medium.
Yeah, going back to Gwen's play there, how do you feel about giving Malekith a bit of extra power? I mean, freestyle beatdown does give you a size 3 throw, but Malekith being size 4, what do you reckon?
I don't know what he was trying to achieve with that though either. Was he just trying to get 1 extra power? I don't know, but then he's just moved back to where he was, so...
Maybe a good question to ask him post-game.
Yeah, I'll definitely write that down in the old notebook.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because, yeah, it didn't really achieve anything at all, did it? You gave 1 power to Mal, and that was about it.
Well, perhaps he sees something that we don't. Maybe he feels that because he has priority next turn, that with that damage going in with Gwen, he could double punch with maybe Miles or something like that to potentially daze him.
Yeah, maybe. Try and guarantee that next turn. Get the spider off of him.
Right, so we've just rerun time, I believe. I think this is another hex shot. No hit, unfortunately, so no trigger.
The one downfall of the old hex shot is not getting that one hit.
And here comes the sword base. Oh,
Then we're supposed we've got Hood's got a heal on line as well, so we could never have really taken out Malekith, I don't think.
without that left sword base where Shadowlands Daredevil, it didn't really matter too much about that outcome because Matt's still, Matt's still going to retain the sword at this point. And that's going to be 14 plays 9.
Be interesting to see if what the result in the points was from, if it was from their lack of not being able to flip the sword bases, and see if they both had an equal split there of failures and successes, or if it was a bit of game plan from Gotcha, maybe being too aggressive in his attrition, with there being 5 webheads and a Black Panther on the board that's quite hard to flip. And it's quite sort of spread out. You've got on the board essentially, you've got 3 sort of fighting zones. So trying to go for a full-on attrition win might not have been the best play.
All right, and here come our spider infected rolls. We had our first success on the first roll. Wondering who that was. This is one of Matt's characters. Does mean that Mike gets to advance the mess. S standing for short.
You mean slow?
Slow, yeah. I mean,
Everyone loves a good slow move.
true. But I'm a man of culture, so it's short for me. And his other two not moving, so that's good for him. And now we move on to Mike.
Just spin the camera around for everyone just so they can see who owns what current sword bases, and they're all owned by the webheads.
I think that's Malekith being moved. Now, Matt with priority and only needing 2 more points to clinch this one out. Who do you think he's going to go with first?
Who have we got that? So I think Black Cat. Throw Black Cat out a double long move.
And then it counts.
Yeah, and then she's gone. And that gives you a guaranteed 1 point.
Yeah, I like it.
And then Voodoo's in the middle, so Voodoo could flee somewhere else as well with his medium move on a medium base. Because there's no one threatening the middle whatsoever, and that's just 2 points there. And then you can just cause disasters in the middle.
And with Malekith still slowed and Hood still slowed, and I mean, no doubt, I'm sure that Mike has got tunnel vision for this Black Panther on 2 damage, who's just refusing to go down.
Yeah, he's got to pull it out of the bag here, I think. Gotcha.
Yeah, the other reason why I'm interested about that Gwen play is because he's now basically spent most of her power. She doesn't have Lifesaver online anymore now, so.
Because he didn't gain anything out of it, really, at all. He's back in the same spot he was at.
Alright. I think we've called him, mate. I think Black Cat is out of here. Oh, and of course, the stagger.
Yeah, I suppose a stagger and then a long move away.
Yeah, with both characters having slows, why not, right?
Yeah.
I think it's another nail in the coffin at this point.
Yeah. You're not.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk to Mike about that opportunity to play Follow Me to potentially clinch out.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. I'm like, he hasn't played his Follow Me card, so he's been behind on priority most of the game. From that one turn where he
It's the elusive as well. Sorry to interrupt, mate.
No, you're all good. And then what was his other card he's got left? Hood's Gang. Yeah, Hood Gang is not really super useful, is it?
Just with the testing I've done with it, it's just it's always felt a little bit lackluster. I mean, getting a reroll on everyone and it's on activation seems wonderful, and of course it is. But it's just hard to utilize with Hood having to go first to get it going.
I wonder if there was more the play that he enjoys playing Shadowlands a lot more. Gets the Hood's Gang up turn 1 with Hood going first with the rerolls from Shadowlands as well as the Hood's Gang, getting the double rerolls, and didn't have a 5th card to throw in there anyway. I know that 5th card slot's quite open for a lot of rosters. But yeah, I think he chose at the start the wrong sort of play style. I don't think the full-on attrition really worked a whole lot.
Well, rewinding back to turn 1, Malkith's first strike into Gwen was lackluster to say the least. Well, it wasn't actually. It was really Gwen's defensive role that really kept her in, and then of course the fallback interaction, which yeah happened, and and then basically rotating into Black Cat, so really mitigating Malkith's ability to put some of these key pieces in the dirt and get them off the board early.
Yep. It might have been worth going straight into more Shadowlands leadership on this sort of scenario. Getting all the rerolls out there rather than having Cabal leadership.
Well, it's typically known that like Sword, regardless of threat level, you really do want to go as a bit wide, as not as wide as you can, but certainly try and keep up to pace with your opponent. So maybe going a little bit wider than the big 7 threat bomb that is Malkith.
I think because there's 5 Spider infected on the table, you can't have multiple in the single one, so everyone's going to be getting rerolls for Shadowlands. As well as them having to sit on the points and try and keep interacting with them all. It would have been perfect to try and take out these elusive characters with the webheads. Whereas Mel's not really done anything all game.
Yeah. I think we've seen Black Cat disappear into the mist, and then I think this is...
Just down here, hidden away in the corner.
Yeah, I think this is potentially Shadowlands Daredevil going into Black Panther.
Yeah, because your middle's been left alone pretty much all game.
So this was the baton toss to get him moving up. Of course, Black Panther has blocked it like a boss. His rampage of being the Vanguard shield wall continues.
I think Matt's done well to split up his team. Have the big Black Panther up there solo by himself after rotating Voodoo out. And then he's had 2 on each of the sword bases the whole game, pretty much.
Confident this is Malkith throwing 10 dice into someone. Poor Miles. Oh, he's done well. Only taking 2.
Oh no, that would have been Shadowlands
attack
with the ninjas nearby, because you get, I think, 2 extra dice for a ninja.
Yeah, you do. That Demon Devastation. So he finally eats the dirt. But I think he's done what he needed to, and then some.
Yeah. See, unless Malekith can somehow get up and daze Voodoo or KO him, would help from Mystique and Hood, but I think Hood's sort of stuck down that back corner now with his slow movement.
Of course, Shadowlands gets a place within 2. Put himself on the sword base, so he'll get that one plus pick up the extract, which is lovely, very nice. And Mystique being a long mover threatens the center sword as well, so he's not out of here just yet, but I think Voodoo disappearing into the mist alongside his best friend Black Cat might be too much.
Yeah, see, the maximum at the moment that Gotcha can get is 6 if he manages to get the last Spire infected, which is not enough. He needs 7 points here.
What a troublesome duo.
And who is the Brother Daniel token again? Was it Shadowlands?
It was Shadowlands, yeah, but it's now back on Voodoo.
Oh,
I'm
he's
not
recalled it,
sure.
has he?
Oh no, sorry, no, it's still on Shadowlands.
Oh, hence why the thing's still down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's why he didn't flip last turn, because he was Brother Daniel.
Yeah.
Or we thought he'd forgotten it, but in turn he'd
Oh
remembered
yeah,
the
of
rule.
course. Yes. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Glad someone's remembered.
Dear. Yeah, just showing you the strength and power of Voodoo and Black Cat as a duo.
But I think they're sort of working out that unless Malekith can get one more off of Matt, I think it's nearly game here.
Oh, I don't think there's anything you can do about those two Spider affected now. I think it's well and truly done.
Yeah. Hood can't do it. Malekith can't really do it. And all you've got left is Mystique.
So he needs 7 to get to 16, and he's only got access to 6, so
Yeah,
he
so
can
he
do it
needs
to
to steal
16.
that last one.
Yeah.
Needs four Spider infected to pretty much give it a win to himself.
Yep. I think perhaps they might be talking out the situation at the moment as well.
Yeah. It goes to show you that the big kitty doesn't win you all the games.
No, it's not like an auto win situation at all.
I think if it was, I think is it the E shapes that are straight down the middle from base to base.
Yes, it is. Your gammas and
Yeah.
your demons.
If it was an E shape, it would have been a completely different situation. But on these C shapes, it's just complete opposite.
Oh, he doesn't mind the odd C, but I know what you mean. The E shape's certainly something that he's looking forward to. He can leverage his beam and things like that.
Yeah, but this one's very spread out.
Just a lot of points on the table, like 8 points potentially for someone to pick up is quite a fast mission. So
And unless you can attrition them from the start, so they can't keep contesting the sword base.
yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And losing prio and being slowed and pushed and pulled around with the sword, yeah.
I think he's going for a fun last roll here into Miles. See if we can knock him off in one go. I think possibly it could have been. There's a few wasted tactics cards on Gotcha's side.
Yeah, that might be 5, including that skull they potentially paid for. Only doing 2. Oh, and the reroll, of course. Oh my goodness.
It's not what you want to
Look
see.
at
4
that.
shields.
4 from 3.
That's where the big kitty flops.
Yep, 2 sneaking through. You can chuck a condition on him if you like.
Going for the sword base at least.
No good.
No.
Still have Hood able to move up and take it. Still got Mystique that can double move into the center and take it and get his points up on the board to finish up with a nice respectable score.
We still got to flip that top one as well because Daredevil couldn't interact with it. I suppose you can just flip that one instantly, can't he? How many points does... Mystique's only got 2 power. So you have to grab the Spider Infected and flip one of the sword bases.
Yes, I must admit, I do keep forgetting that he's possessed. Voodoo. That's trouble.
What? Does he have a... he's got his Venom Steel thing, does he have? Is that what we're looking at here? Venom Blast. Okay.
Yes. Adding insult to injury, I think, at this point.
Yeah. I think he might have forgotten about that one. Or he just tried to one-shot Miles, I suppose. So you counted as contesting that objective for sword base, or does it not count towards a contested?
It doesn't matter how many bodies are on the sword base, as long as there's one or more.
Oh, sorry, I mean in regards to his leadership, where you've got to contest an objective.
Oh, yes. Yes, it does.
Because, okay, I was just trying to work out, because he could have done Hood first and done 4 hex shots into Miles with no rerolls, but if he's going to count... got the rapid fire at least.
Oh no, I think this might be Miles looking to get the wild with the webline kick to push Hood away. But hasn't hit the wild, so. Does put him inside 3 for Hood to X shot him. But don't think it matters at this point.
No. He's playing his Hood gang now.
Alright, rerolls coming in.
So this might have been the turn where it was worthwhile to play Hood first. Get rerolls for everyone if you're going to try and go a big attrition swing. Oh, he might possibly smack out Miles out of this. There you go, there's the Hex Shock doing work.
Yeah.
More work than what Malekith could do. And didn't even take a rapid fire or anything.
Told you, mate. These 4 dice rapid fire characters, they just pop off. Alright, being able to take that sword back means that he can get the sword on the left with Mystique and pick up the extract.
It makes that score line look nice and close.
Now Gwen, obviously still here. Gwen. It's always interesting, these positions in the game where both opponents know the outcome, but still playing to try and find those optimal lines of play.
Yeah, and getting that score line look nice and close as well. Looks better to see a 16-13 than it does a 16-9.
That is true.
The tail might get in the way there.
Oh, mate, just chop it off. Not quite within one with that one, but I think it might be as simple as a double move and scoop.
Yep. Of course, Hood couldn't have picked it up last turn because he's already got one.
Could have been cheeky and gone for the sword and denied him 3, but I think perhaps a bit too cheeky.
We can't deny Gotch's done well to get here anyway. Make it up to their top 32.
Absolutely. First season, 5-1. Great effort. Great showing.
What did you think about his tactic card choice in terms of brace for impact? It seems to be everyone just takes it no matter what, but I don't think I really saw many throws or massive terrain size throws from the WebWarriors
I
side.
mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously Matt has access to his own Malekith, so maybe he's considering that to protect his characters from his own Malekith being thrown into his allies with his opponent's ferocity. But then, and perhaps that's what he was thinking because he didn't bring Dark Rain, so knowing that maybe that's what he was expecting.
Yeah, possibly. And I wonder if that was maybe a poor Ross decision on his part then, if knowing how sword base works and spider infected. Because the wider WebWarriors works much better on this than a taller one with Malekith.
Voodoo does have access to a throw, size 3 terrain and people, but yeah, other than that. And of course, Miles' web line kick. I think they're going to score out.
Well, even with the clocks not enabled at the start, I don't think we hit anywhere near the timeout limit.
The 17 playing 14, and that's GG.
We're going to once they finish tallying everything up, we'll jump over into their room and see how they went.
Yeah, mate. I'll jump over there and I'll meet you in there.
Awesome. We are going to lose Corey's camera here as well.
Well played, gents. Fantastic game. Congratulations, Matt, for the win.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to see some good lines of play. Gents, are you up for a bit of a discussion post-game?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. All right. Matt, let's start off with you, shall we? Again, congratulations on the win, mate. Well done. Going into this game, my first question has to be about your roster decision. Obviously, being sword and something as wide as spider infected, I assume you felt quite comfortable going with the tried and tested 5 wide WebWarriors with the splashes of Voodoo and Black Panther. Did you consider taking a more aggressive option with your splash Malekith, or was this the general line of play for yourself?
For this crisis, considering there was 5 objectives like extracts, I wasn't going to take Malekith with that many points on the board.
Okay.
Yeah, great. And just to dovetail that into yourself, Mike, with your selection as well, I noticed that some selection with your tactics cards, for instance, the brace and the Hoods gang and the lack of Dark Rain. Were you expecting to see an opposing Malekith across from you?
I was not. I did not think, based on his setup, that it was likely he would run Malekith there. It just felt like a setup for that Webbs would want to play like Webbs. I don't know if I was expecting exactly that comp. I wouldn't say I was surprised, but I thought I might see like the traditional ASM and Moon Knight, but it makes sense for what he picked. So, Hood's Gang is a card that not a lot of people play, but I love. It's just gives the team a power turn against objective holders. It just worked out that I didn't have a clean time to play it. The best activation that Hood had to use it, he was shooting at Black Cat where it wouldn't have mattered anyway. And Hood just didn't see a lot of action this game, the right kind of action anyway.
Yeah, fair. Thank you so much for your thoughts, and I have to agree with all your points there. Enzo, do you have any questions for me?
We did have a question for the start of the game. With your Gwen play moving up, Matt, did you think about the deception from Mystique?
No, I didn't. But when he did it, I wasn't too worried about it because I don't mind Gwen having more power for next turn.
Yeah, because we did notice as soon as he'd done it, you brought Black Cat up, and it's like, who do you choose from? If your day's one, well, then the other one's just going to stagger and move away, or your Gwen's going to be powered up and move away for next turn.
Yeah.
We did have
I was
another.
really hoping to daze Gwen there and have the power to go into Black Cat. That would have
The
been
fullback.
fantastic, and it just was not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
noticed
did that frustrate you, Mike, and change your lines of play, having Gwen basically get out of jail for free off that attack of Malekith?
And what's that? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So I was just asking, like, on that, like, not being able to daze Gwen there, did that kind of change your little bit of lines of play and target priority? As in, like, oh, I didn't get her in the first go, I'll just I might shift away from her, or
Yeah, I mean, I really. Well, it set up a good turn 2 play to go into, to daze her out and then go after Miles. I thought that wasn't a bad shot, and I was pretty comfortable with my turn 2 until I accidentally dazed Voodoo and lost Prio.
Yeah, we did notice that.
Yeah,
That was a huge spot.
I'm tired and sick, so I'm missing a lot of stuff anyway. I missed a Malekith leadership on that days as well. I don't play Malekith Cabal very much, mostly criminals, so I'm just not used to triggering stuff off of dazes like that mentally, and I missed that one. And I also missed another one later on too, in this last turn here, which I don't think would have mattered, but maybe it gets me to play with Mystique. Hard to say.
Matt, just one more from me for you, my man. With Gwen, I think it was during turn 3, you're sitting on maybe 4 or 5 power. With the slow and the all webbed up turn going into Malekith, can you run us through your thought patterns as to why you decided to go that way, rather than perhaps being a bit of a move, push on Hood, or even just staying where you are to protect Voodoo for turn 4?
I was considering just sitting there and doing nothing, but I didn't think Hood was going to do a whole lot from where he was, so I just thought maybe I'd get some damage into Malekith, knowing I had priority, so if I left him on 1 or 2 health, there was a chance I could take him out for the next turn.
Yeah, fair enough. We noticed there was a few plays for you, Mike, for playing Follow Me. In those few opportunities, did you feel you didn't want to play Follow Me, or was it just a card because you said you had a bit of being sick and all that sort of stuff wasn't really on your radar to be played?
Yeah, so the big one was the chance where I had 6 power on Malekith, and Hood over here was the one that I really saw was a good shot to play it. And I made the decision that at that time I didn't need, or it was more important to pick up the spider rather than leave the spider on the ground.
Yep.
So, and that's when I realized I was down a power because of the leadership, and I messed that up, and it kind of threw me off my game a little bit. If I had, I don't know, right? If I left that spider on the ground and followed me with Hood can't pick it up, and I've got nobody else over here who could. So it was just a matter of somebody else would have ended up with it, and Hood would have been taking the same shot into Black Cat or whatever that he had. And as we saw, did not daze Black Cat on his shots because he rolled like trash. He also, Hood's gang wouldn't have helped him there. It's not an ideal play for him.
Yeah, I think we both sort of noticed that was the turning point in your brain from going from I need to do attrition to I need to start scoring more points. Otherwise, Matt's just going to score out at me a lot earlier. Do you think?
Yeah, I felt pretty good after turn 1, and then turn 2 it swung rapidly back with him pulling it, and it was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
After turn 1, I was absolutely shitting bricks because I'm supposed to get the early lead, and he had this lead on me. I'm like, it's not going to plan.
Yeah.
The other
Just thought,
decision-
Yeah,
didn't
I
work
actually
out.
felt the same for you, Matt. I was very concerned with him having prio and 1 point lead. I was like, oh dear, this is not going well.
Yeah.
The other questionable decision I made was spendering on Panther with Mystique. I'll have to think about that for a while to decide if that was the right decision there or not. I could have picked up a spider and just shot him again, but the decision to spender and give him stun was a tough decision for me.
Yeah, we did notice that because he gets the stun before the damage goes through. That, so it's nice to be able to keep power off of Black Panther.
Right.
Yeah, because I think at one point it's like we were discussing. Well, hasn't flipped Black Panther yet. All the injured characters are sort of out of limbo and not able to be targeted. So it's like you've got to sort of change your game plan there to get rid of the attrition side of it because you're not going to win out through attrition, and then go into more of the point scoring part of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, once I got the position on Voodoo, it was pretty much 5 versus 3 at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
And I
noticed you
feel
done
like Black Panther.
we noticed you
Yeah,
done
I
good
feel like Black Panther
rotations.
just held this down.
Yeah, because you had a perfect sort of setup. You had 2 on each of the points, and then when Voodoo got dazed, it had enough power. Put a Brother Daniel on Shadowlands. You
Yeah.
just sort of rotated around enough just to leave Black Panther up there, and he tanked a lot of damage before being dazed. It was a brilliant game for both of you. Like, congratulations, got you on getting to the top 32 for your first TTS season. We weren't
Thank you.
sure about for Matt. Was this your first TTS season as well, or have you played in previous ones?
No, this is my second full season.
Okay, you've both done brilliantly well to get to where you are. That's for sure.
Yeah, brilliant showing, gents. Well
you.
done.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, and this video will be available on the YouTube channel later on today if you want to watch it back. Thank you so much for allowing us to come and commentate and cover the game. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Catch you
Cheers.
later. Have a good one.